Hello everyone, it's been once again a minute since I have last posted, but we are getting back into the groove. I just, need to find the energy to do this. However, today we have, welcome. Completely forgot the intro. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Mila, you're at my book Nook, and I hope you enjoy your stay. Today we are doing a video. I don't really do like seasonal TBR or seasonal rec videos, and I definitely missed the cutoff point, I guess, the time period for the fall ones, because we're literally in November right now. By the time you're seeing it, was going to be like in the middle of November, I think, or maybe still at the beginning of November. I don't know when you're going to see this, but either way, we're going to be pretty well into winter at this point. So today I have a stack of 7 books that I want to recommend to you because this is the winter books recs video. And there you go. If you want something wintry, if you want a book to cozy up into, this is the video for you. So without further ado, the first one I have is, I don't know if people would necessarily recommend this one, but it literally has to do with winter, and that is A Game of Thrones by George R. R. Martin. And the reason I say this is I'm always cold, right? So that's a me thing, right? You can tell me that I'm half Russian all you want, right? It's still not going to take away the fact that I'm always cold, right? So it literally, one of the houses they're saying is winter is coming. Okay, a majority of this book is set in Winterfell as well as The Wall. And Martin writes winter really well, to the point where I was shivering. It could be 30 degrees outside. I would be shivering. I was shivering. Okay, I was cold. And he writes winter really well, actually, considering it's only a small part of the book, because there are characters that travel to other spots that are significantly warmer. But every time we have a John chapter and he describes how the cold seeps in your bones, like how he has to wear like 5 bajillion furs or whatever, I'm just reminded that it's cold and I would not survive. I would not survive. There you have it. The next one I have is The Witch and the Tsar by Lisa Gilmore, and if you know me, I love this book, and if there's any country that I ask you to name me that you associate with winter, I guarantee you most of your answers, most of you guys, would say Russia, because Russia, as well as Canada, we're known for our winters, and this is set in 16th century Russia during the reign of Ivan IV, who then becomes Ivan the Terrible. And we follow a young Baba Yaga, or Yaga, because Baba means like grandma, and that's attesting to her being very old, and a hag essentially. So we're following a young Yaga, and she is a half goddess in this. In the original like Slavic folktale, she's more so a witch. There's no really known origin of her like birth and stuff. Like, we don't know who her parents are. She's just always there. She's just a figure to mainly spook kids away into, listening to their parents. And so her friend Anastasia comes all the way from Moscow because she's sick with something, and the palace healers cannot figure out what on earth it is. And so Yaga has to travel all the way to Moscow, and she's been living in the woods. Like, she's been living in the middle of nowhere for years, right? So she hasn't really known human civilization as well as she probably should have. And so she doesn't really have much connection with human civilization. So she's definitely an outcast in this very prestigious society where women are expected to act a certain way and react a certain way and just exist in a certain sense. So there's a plot brewing, and Yaga finds this group of friends, and it's a found family aspect, and it's very much a full circle novel, and I just love this because also the amount of like Russian words in this, it was just so heartwarming and so nostalgic to read. And I'm like, wow, this is great. I love it. This is so awesome. Like, I just really love it. So yeah, definitely recommend. There's also, I think, either a scene or several chapters where there's literally a snowstorm, so they're like snowed in. Like, they cannot walk out. It's literally snow. So this is perfect as a book to cozy up with and read by the warm fireplace if you have one, with a nice cup of tea. The next one I have is one that I don't think is necessarily, I'm not going to recommend this in the sense that it's very winter, set in the winter, like for example The Witch and the Star or Game of Thrones. I'm recommending this because of the sort of subgenres it takes over and the way that it's sort of built up. So the book I'm recommending is A Master of Jinn, and this is set in an alternative Cairo. Now, you're going to be deep into winter. It's going to be minus 20 outside. Of course, you want to go to a place that is more or less warm and sunny, like Cairo, like Egypt, right? Because Egypt is known for its very, very warm weather. So this is set in an alternative Cairo, and this is steampunk fantasy, and we follow our main character, Fatima, who is an investigator for the Bureau for the Ministry of Alchemy, Enchantments, and Supernatural Entities, and this is set in 1912 Cairo. So there's definitely some like tensions between the local population as well as the Europeans that are coming in and colonizing Egypt, basically. And so there's a mystery, and the mystery aspect is where I have leaned into recommending this, because I feel like mysteries are very much a fall winter vibe, and this is, as far as I know, for now this is the only full-length novel, but the author also has 3 novellas set in the same world. So if you're intimidated by this, although it's not super long, but there's still quite a bit of world building, and I feel like you can read the novellas and then read the book, or you can even read the book and then the novellas, which is what I did, although I've only read 1 novella out of the 3, but I really enjoyed the one that I did read. So definitely check this one out, and it's great. It has a really compelling storyline. It's a little bit predictable. I kind of saw the twist coming, but it was really great. I was thoroughly entertained, and I want more from this author in this world. The fact that we don't have like a second book is criminal. The next one I will recommend is not an adult fantasy, nor is it a young adult fantasy. It's actually middle grade, and it has stunning illustrations, and that is A Wolf for a Spell by Kara Sutton. And this actually also features Baba Yaga, but as, you know, Baba Yaga, like as the old witch, old hag. And we actually feature a wolf pup in this, and the wolf pup, like, you're following the wolf pup and you're hearing the wolf pup's thoughts, and the wolf pup's name, the main one at least, is actually Zima, which actually means winter in Russian, which I think is such a cool thing in a book. I don't know, because for like someone who's like ethnically Russian, you know, and like grew up speaking Russian and stuff like that, naming character after something like after a season sounds a little bit weird, but when someone else does it, it just makes sense. But anyway, so the main wolf pup's name is Zima, and basically there's a whole switcheroo thing where the girl is switched into the, is it? Oh, okay, sorry. So Zima switches with Baba Yaga. So Zima's soul sort of goes into Baba Yaga, and they do a little, you know, the classic body switcheroo. And when Nadia goes to Baba Yaga seeking help about something, she realizes that it's actually not Baba Yaga, it's Zima, and Baba Yaga has run off in Zima's body. So Zima's body, I don't know. Also, these illustrations are absolutely stunning, and I just love this art style. Can somebody please tell me what this art style is? Because every time I see it somewhere, that's the izbushka. Every time I see it somewhere, it's just so dreamy, and I just want to know how people draw this, because it's just so stunning, and it's so soft, and it's just perfect for fairy tales, and it's just amazing. So, anyways, so highly recommend that one. It's really fun, and a pretty quick read too. This one is The Book of Gothel, And this is an ARC I got, so it has a slightly different cover now, but I really love this cover. Although the new cover is pretty cool too. So this actually follows our main girl, Halewise, who's actually we follow our main character who is known as Mother Gothel. So we follow the character that we know as Mother Gothel, except in this case there's a twist. Mother Gothel, like the name Gothel doesn't come from the character's name, it actually comes from the tower. So the tower's name, where Rapunzel is trapped later on, is named Gothel. And it is actually like a hideaway for women only. And men cannot access it unless they have a specific thing, like a specific enchanted object where they can see the tower. Otherwise, the fog is too strong for the men. And so we follow our main character, Halewise, who becomes Mother Gothel later on, but we follow her after her mother has died and she lives in a village, and because of her magic, she's shunned. And so she goes off to find this Gothel, this tower, to seek help, to figure out what she can do with her life. And this is set in Germany in the, I want to say 12th century, I think. But yeah, this is really great. I know it gives very much fall vibes, but winter. It also gives winter vibes, okay? You gotta trust me on this. The next one I have is another one that I think people would say is more fall vibes, but given the cover, I think it's still winter. Like, you can definitely give it as a winter's rec, and that is One Dark Window. And the red cape is giving winter. Like, it's giving red against the snow, it's giving Red Riding Hood, which is a very winter-esque tale for me at least. And, like the red on the snow, it looks like blood, that kind of imagery. So this one, if you haven't heard of it, if you've been living under a rock, respectfully, this one follows our main character, Elspeth, who lives in this village, in this kingdom, and there is a monster trapped inside her head. And basically, when the kids are young, they get sick, and if they come out of this sickness, they have magic, but when they get sick, they get essentially sent to their death, so we never really know that they have magic, because only a specific group of people can have magic. And so Elspeth got sick, and she healed from that sickness, like she got over the sickness, and the reason why she wasn't sent to her death is because she was protected by her father. And so she now has this monster trapped inside her head that she calls Nightmare. And, the king wants to gather this pack of cards that will get away from the fog, like that will make the fog around the kingdom disappear, like where they live. And honestly, the fog is giving winter, because it's just not like, it's not like fully winter, but it's like when you see the frost early in the morning and then it's gone, right, during the day, and you're like, oh, where'd the frost go? It's like another summer day, right? Another fall day. So that's what it's giving. I didn't do a very good job in explaining what this is about, but this is great. The romance was great. The atmosphere was so juicy and dark and gothic and gloomy, and I really, really enjoyed this one, and it actually blew up on TikTok after I had read it and after I said I loved it. So technically, it's not a book that I got recommended from TikTok, but it's one of the upcoming popular TikTok books that I actually enjoyed. Well, I did not get this from TikTok. TikTok didn't even get their grimy hands on this book before I had read it. So it was only after that TikTok discovered this one for good reason. The last one is actually a YA fantasy, and I have a full-length review of this series on my channel if you want to check that out. I also have a vlog of me reading the series on my channel if you want to check that out, and that is Sabriel by Garth Nix. And now I'm specifically going to recommend this one because our main girl Sabriel lives in a world where there's the Old Kingdom, which does have magic, and then there's Ancestria, which doesn't have magic, and there's a wall that splits them. And as long as you're like within a certain distance of the wall, you can access that magic, but otherwise you can't. And most of your like memories and what really happens in Ancestria, if you're from the Old Kingdom, are kind of fuzzy. So Sabriel is a necromancer, but not in the sense that she raises the dead, in the sense that she puts the dead to sleep, right? And her father is the actual necromancer, right? So she's sort of the necromancer in waiting. In this world, they're called the Abhorsen. And those are the only ones that are allowed to practice necromancy. If you're an actual necromancer, then that's illegal, but if you're an Abhorsen, that's perfectly fine. Because there is a set of rules that you have to follow, and you have to be taught to be this, and you have to actually have like this innate ability to access this specific spot, this specific place, which is like the afterlife. And you have to have specific tools as well. So, and knowledge. So Sabriel is the person waiting, and when she gets a message from her father while she's at school, she realizes that she has to go to the Old Kingdom to save him. And he is in the afterlife, like his soul is in the afterlife, and he's clearly frozen on our side. So she travels to the Old Kingdom, and when she gets to the Old Kingdom, it is snowing. It is winter. So Ancelstier and the Old Kingdom, I took a really long time to get to the point. Ancelstier and the Old Kingdom run on sort of different timelines. So I think the Old Kingdom is faster. Either way, so it could be really warm in Ancelstier, like it could be summer in Ancelstier, and we're falling into winter in the Old Kingdom. So 2 different timelines, right? So a majority of this book takes place in the Old Kingdom. Like, we only get glimpses of Ancelstier at the beginning, and then for a majority of it, we're in the Old Kingdom. So there's a lot of moments where Sabriel has to, trudge up with, like, skis and stuff, and ski poles and stuff, and she, like, deals with the snow and the cold and the winter and stuff like that. So also necromancy, a very fall-winter activity, I think. But yeah, this series overall is really great, and I am kind of mad at myself that I didn't pick this up earlier, because I remember distinctly seeing this all over the place, especially at libraries, but I just never picked it up because I was like, doesn't look right. And I'm just so glad I picked it up, just on a whim, because I thought the cover was cool, and I got this. This is the 25th anniversary edition, and I actually have all 3 books. There are more books in the series, but I sort of consider, like, the trilogy the only books, because I've heard that the other books aren't as great. But yeah, and that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts down below, and if you aren't subscribed, but you enjoyed this video, and you like books and reading and studying and all that stuff, I please, I will implore you, I'll ask you kindly to subscribe, to comment, to follow me on all my socials. I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok as well, I'm on booktube here, and yeah, and I will see you in the next one. Happy reading.